Now I want to speak directly to one specific American. Donald.
Dumpy Don just got called out by Trudeau at a press conference where Canada announced 25% retaliatory tariffs on the US. It looks like the stock market isn't the only thing that's crashing, as the relationship between our two closest allies is officially up in flames. The gloves are off in this economic boxing match as these tariffs finally go into effect. Trudeau started the press conference with a statement of disgust towards the way the United States was treating Zelensky and cozying up right next to real-life supervillain Vladimir Putin. And while none of us were really sure if Trump was actually going to go through with these tariffs, seeing as he chickened out last month, it seems like you can only hold back stupid for so long. And of course, Canada wasn't just going to sit back and take it, and they're hitting back especially hard.
At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable. And we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S. tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products.
That's right, the crazy orange buffoon and his couch-f***ing sidekick finally went through with their idiotic tariffs, and it didn't take long before Canada hit back with its own retaliatory tariffs. Meaning now, not only is there 25% on all goods that we buy from Canada, there's 25% on all goods that we sell to Canada, meaning prices will raise for Canadians and American exporters will be met with less demand. We are now in a situation in which everybody loses. Folks, that's the art of the deal. You can absolutely be sure that prices are going to raise across the board. Even the cost of items made here in the United States will go up as manufacturers look to make up for the loss from retaliatory tariffs. This absolutely will hurt Americans, and Trudeau knows that. Here's his message to the American people.
I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk, at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes, and everything in between. They've chosen to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs to grow and prosper. They've chosen to launch a trade war that will, first and foremost, harm American families. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States. And they've chosen to undermine the incredible work we've done together to tackle the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that must be wiped from the face of the earth. So on that point, let me be crystal clear. There is absolutely no justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today.
And of course, everybody knows that there's no reason for these tariffs today. It's absolutely ridiculous. As he and the Wall Street Journal point out, it's the dumbest trade war in history. Because other than anti-globalist conspiracy theories that have somehow wormed their way into the ear of the President of the United States, I can't believe that I'm saying that, there's no justifiable reason to kneecap the economies of the United States, Canada, and Mexico just cuz. It only benefits Russia and China because they're vying for the spot of hegemonic power. America's quickly losing its grasp on the world, and nature abhors a vacuum. Sure is curious how everything Dumpy Don does benefits Putin, huh? And in this next clip, Trudeau talks directly to Donald in order to tell him directly to his face how stupid he is.
Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth in both of our countries. We've done big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see. And now, to my fellow Canadians, I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm.
Make no mistake, this is absolutely Trump's failure. This response from the market last night and today, by the way, the market is down again another 600 points, is absolutely a reaction to these tariffs. There is pain coming for everybody on this continent. This North American economic infighting is not only detrimental to all of our well-being, but it's projected to have regressive impacts on all of our economies. And maybe the most heartbreaking part about all of this is that it's driving a wedge between the relationships of the United States, Mexico, and Canada, countries whose people, economies, and cultures have mixed well beyond our borders. I mean, if Donald and his cabinet of spoiled rich kids kept calling your country the 51st state, I would expect all of you to be booing America too. I mean, I know I would be.
And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem. But let me tell Americans, we're not booing you, we're not booing your teams, we're not booing your players. We're booing a policy that is designed to hurt us.
Damn, wouldn't it be nice to have an inspirational leader right now, instead of the melting bucket of orange sherbet we're calling a president? It looks like this economic Titanic just hit the iceberg, so we have a lot more in store for us. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.